I am the least bit excited about the next generation of consoles. I own a PS5 and a Switch as well as a PC, and I do enjoy my PS5 and a lot of the games, and this video isn't about the quality of games recently. But if any of you guys are excited about getting like a PS6 or whatever the next Xbox is going to be, then let me convince you not to be excited. It's going to be a bit more off the cuff video, so no actual script, so I might stutter a little bit more than usual. The PS5 is going to be 6 years old, and it's going to be 7 next year and then 8 the year after, which means in the next 2 years we're going to get either a PS6 or an announcement for the PS6. And there's a lot of people that are excited about it, but I just don't care. I actually just do not care. Without talking about the quality of the games for a minute, in terms of the actual games that we do have, there's just not enough of them coming out to warrant like a new game or a new console purchase. And what I mean by this is that what game has Naughty Dog released for the PlayStation 5? I mean, we've got Last of Us 1 Remake, Last of Us 2 Remastered, and I think Uncharted, like a remaster of the two Uncharted games, Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4. And that's just Sony first party games. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out this year, but the last GTA game was 2013, and that was technically released for the PS3. My point is, when your favorite game franchises only releases a game every 5 to 6 years, why would you then upgrade to the next console when you haven't actually had the game from that game franchise that you really like? And that's just one aspect of it. I mean, we've got the fact that, it still feels like a new console, to be fair. The PS5, as I said, came out about 6 years ago. This year will be its 6th year, and it doesn't feel like it's an old or outdated console at all. It still feels like it came out yesterday, to be honest. And the reason why not just me, but a lot of people feel like that is because it doesn't feel like any games have come out in the last 6 years have actually pushed the PS5 or the Xbox currently to any technological limit. Anytime we do get games that perform badly, it's usually blamed on the game engine or optimization. And to be fair, there has been a hit of game optimization in the last decade or so. And we do have some developers like Capcom. I've got both their games over here, releasing Resident Evil Requiem this year and Pragmata, both really good games. And they're two different games as well. I think a lot of another criticism as well is that there's no originality or anything new or anything experimental happening at the moment. It's just kind of, continuations of current franchises, remakes, reimagining. Pragmata is one of the only few games that actually test the water with something new. Games that will be releasing for the PS5 as well as the PS6. This will definitely be GTA 6 and the next Call of Duty. With the cross-gen that we just went through, PS4 and PS5, it was a long cross-generation time frame. I mean, the PS4 was incredibly underpowered and it still pushed through even to this year. Black Ops 7 is still on the PS4. And it looks like maybe the next Call of Duty they're going to abandon the last generation consoles. Now, games like Call of Duty and FIFA are kind of outliers. They kind of do need to have their games on as many platforms as they can. But even then, like God of War Ragnarok was also on the PS4. Xbox's Halo Infinite was also released on the Xbox One and One X. The cross-gen period that we've just gone through has been quite long, longer than any kind of generation that's gone before, and I feel like the PS5 to PS6 is going to be even worse. Considering games aren't being pushed to their technological limit, I feel like that's just going to make the cross-gen between PS5 and PS6 even worse than it already is. For example, with me, I bought a PS5 a year and a bit, almost 2 years into the PS5's life cycle, so I'd say towards the end of 2021. And then looking back, I feel like I could have gone another year and a bit without actually having to upgrade. The only way Sony can remedy this is they extend the PS5's life cycle to like 2030 or 2031. If Sony just releases the PS6 as it is in the next year or two, the only way they're going to get people on board, or a large amount of people on board, if it's like fully compatible with all previous PlayStation consoles. That'll include PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, hell, even some PS Vita games. If their main bargaining chip is, oh, it's more powerful, it can push 4K, 120 FPS ray tracing, I just don't feel like the casual or even the regular person on a console cares about that too much. Consoles usually come with quality modes, either quality or performance mode, and performance mode is easily the most popular mode to choose from, and those usually disable like higher textures, even disable ray tracing outright with just normal shadow technology, and people don't seem to mind, people don't seem to care. So if their only selling point is that, oh, we've got better ray tracing now, it's cool, but it's not something we need, And then we get into the biggest elephant in the room, which is the price. Now, I live in the UK, so the pricing hasn't really been affected too much. We've still had price increases, but it's not as bad as in the US. That being said, a $650 PlayStation 5 now I dread to think what the PlayStation 6 base would cost as well. I mean, £600, $600 is probably the highest they should go if they still want to retain the current base that they have. If they go any higher, it's going to probably alienate a lot of people, and they will have slower console sales. It'll probably still sell alright, but it won't be as quick or as well as like the previous years or previous generations. PS5 Pro is basically $1,000 if you include the stand and the disc drive. And depending how well the PS5 Pro did, they might release a PS6 Pro in the next year or two after the PS6's launch. Now, I don't think they should. I mean, the PS5 Pro, in my opinion, has no reason to exist. At least with the PS4 Pro, it had a reason to exist. The PS4 was severely underpowered, a weak CPU, a weak GPU. It was struggling to push 1080p. But with the PS5, we were getting consistent 1080p to 1440p at 60 FPS. So in my opinion, I don't think we actually needed a Pro, but they decided to push a Pro out. There's just no real competition in the industry at the moment. Nintendo's doing its own thing with its hybrid console approach. Microsoft, well, they're just there. It's not really a competition there. But when I see people say that they really want a PS6, I just think these guys are just mindless consumers, and they just want to buy the next big product, not realizing what they've got in front of them is perfectly fine for the next few years. If the PlayStation 6 does get announced in the next year or two, don't pre-order it, don't buy it even a year or two after its launch. I would say the best time to purchase a console, the next consoles coming up, would be the third year at the earliest, or fourth year, just because it's had 3 or 4 years to get some games out. Any kinks with the original hardware have been worked out, and there's still games being released for the original console, the PS5, so again, you're not really missing out on much besides nicer looking grass textures. Typically, people who play on console aren't really graphics or frame rate focused, which is why I'm surprised that these gaming companies even focus too much on that, like 4K, 120 FPS. They're nice, but if you're on a console, you're not really looking for that. You're looking for just games to play. If you really want the best graphics and frame rate, you'd be investing on a high-end PC. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think anyone should be excited at all for the next consoles. If you are, then you kind of need to reevaluate what's really going on, or have really open your eyes to see what's going on. I think fanboys, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo fanboys are partly the reason why we're in such a bad situation in terms of pricing and getting new games. If you like these videos where it's very chilled and relaxed, please subscribe for more. The new Batman game's coming out, so I'll definitely be playing or making videos about that. And I'll see you guys in the next one.